Hey y'all, welcome back to Leslie's Mature Makeup and Beauty. Today we're going to do our full face of Flower Beauty, so I'm super excited. I've not tried a lot from Flower, and then they had a couple of new releases that I was excited to try, so we're just going to get started with our eyes per usual. I did go ahead and put on a little bit of eye primer. I didn't buy one from Flower. I used the Urban Decay Primer Potion today, and then I've worn the foundation for a few days, so I'll tell you more about that, kind of my thoughts on it when we get to that point. But for eyes, I grabbed one of their little quads. This is their Petal Play quad in Black Iris. And then they had some new Chrome Crush pressed pigments. So I grabbed one of those in the shade Jade. So I want to incorporate this in as well. It's a really pretty, like a lime green top shade. So and I did set my eye primer down with just a little bit of translucent powder, so we'll get going here. And I think I'm gonna swatch these. Ooh, those shimmers feel nice. Those feel really good. So that's that matte brown, the purple shimmer next to it, then the more browny shimmer, and then this kind of deeper purple. I thought they all looked a little bit shimmery, or, a couple of them, the matte ones, they looked a little satiny, but they feel really nice. So those are pretty. And I think this green will go nice with this kind of purpley tone that we'll probably end up with here. So I think what I'm going to do is start out with this shade here that's called Clay. And I'm going to put that up in this transition area. And I'm just using my little fluffy A502 brush. This is the first time I've ever used any Flower Beauty eyeshadows. The little palette that she released recently, the Charlie's Angels, but it was pretty neutral, and then it was 20 bucks. So I decided I'd go for this guy, which I think was like 11. And I did have to purchase everything online. In my area, there is not, they carry CVS carries Flower Beauty, but the only one that was close to me was like 50 miles away. So I didn't want to drive 50 miles and then get there and they not have things in stock. Or it's almost given me a little bit of almost a purpley mauvey shift on the eyes. And I did fill my brows in just a little bit too before we got started. I just used the little Maybelline double-ended Express Brow. I've been liking that. It's time to color my brows again, so that almost has a little bit of almost a satiny look on the eye, which I don't mind. And then I think I will take a little Profusion small pointed brush. I'm going to go into this shade here called Fog. And I'm going to put a little of that in the outer and inner corner. And then I think I want to take this crushed pigment and do like a little bit of like a spotlight eye. And what I normally try to do if I'm doing like a spotlight eye is I look straight ahead into my mirror and I put my deeper shade at the edges of my iris. and then leave that area directly above my iris open. A little bit of powder kick up in the pan, but I'm not noticing a ton of, there's a little fallout with this shade. I cannot say that these feel as smooth as some of the other eyeshadows that I've used. They felt super smooth when I swatched them, but you know, a swatch is not really... You know, when you swatch something on your hand, it doesn't necessarily translate that way on the eyes. I mean, I don't think they're bad, but I can't say it's my favorite formula so far. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and then we'll be right back, and I'll do the, we'll put a little of this green in the center. Alright, so I just did the same thing over on this right eye, and before I put the shimmer on, I'm just going to take my big fluffy brush and just kind of soften everything up a little bit. And just make sure everything is blended well. Alright, so in the center of my eye, I'm going to put this. This is one of their new products, this Chrome Crush Pressed Pigment. And it does have a little what you dooley in there. Save that to put back in your container so it doesn't dry out. And I think I'm going to try with a little, we'll try with a little flat brush and see how it goes. I'm going to use my little Profusion, that little baby flat brush. Oh, I want to feel it. Super soft. That's what that looks like. I'm going to see if I can pick a little bit of this up on this brush. It's definitely really soft. Kind of reminds you of the texture of like a Super Shock or something. And we'll just press this in here. A little bit. Seems a little crumbly with the brush. I am getting a little bit of fallout with it, which I don't mind. That's why I always do my eyes first. So that's what it looks like applied with a brush. And I think I'm going to take a little bit on my pinky finger. It is kind of hard to get my bigger hands with my nails down in there, but and see how intense this will get with the finger. And I am overlapping that darker shade just a little bit. So we'll probably bring back a little bit of that. Yeah, I think that definitely zhuzhed it up a little bit. It's very pretty. I can't remember how many shades of this they had, but that's a nice formula. And then I'm going to take the brush that we used on the outer corner of this little one. I'm not going to add anything to it. But just kind of sweep over those edges. Just to make sure everything is blended well. I don't want any harsh lines. That top shade may, this transition shade may be a little patchy, but it could be something with my eye. Okay, I'm going to sweep away any fallout we got, and we'll move on to complexion, and then we'll finish up under the eyes once we've got our foundation on. And for foundation, I grabbed their Get Real Serum Foundation, and I don't know if y'all can tell, but I have shaken until I can shake no more. I even took the pump off and out and stirred it with my little silicone spatula, and I cannot get it to completely mix together. And the shade I got's a little bit dark and a little bit orange. So the first day that I used this, I did use it just like it was. I didn't add anything to it, but today I'm going to add some of my LA Girl mixing pigments. These didn't seem to change the texture or performance of the foundation. So it's the first day that I wore this. I didn't put any kind of primer on, and I didn't set it down with any powder or anything. And this does need to be set down with a little bit of powder. It's, just stays kind of tacky to the touch. It's a really thin formula. I'll show y'all. It runs right down the old palette there. But like I said, it's a little warm and a little dark. So I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of this blue to cool it down. And then a little tiny bit of this white to lighten it up a little bit. I put 2 pumps out on the palette just to make sure that I have enough, once I've got it mixed, so that I don't have to try to go back and try to get it, exactly the same. And you can see, well, I don't know if you can with the reflection, how much lighter and cooler it looks. So I'm just going to dot this around. And this says it has a medium coverage with a natural radiant finish. And I didn't get a concealer, so I'm just going to take this all the way under the eyes. I have a couple of concealers that I really love. Kind of same with the primers and the powders and stuff. I just didn't want to buy a bunch of things that I have, favorites. And I may not have got that quite light enough, but hopefully it will make it work. I don't want to have a bunch of products that, like concealer, I don't wear every day. I don't wear a primer every day. I don't always use a powder. So I don't want to have a bunch of products that I can't use up before they go bad. And I'm just using my Stands Out blending sponge. Still been loving the one from e.l.f. too. And I may end up having to take a little bit of concealer of some sort and putting it at the outer corner just to clean that up a little bit, but we'll see when we get this all blended in. Actually, I may just take a little wipe here, and we'll clean that up just a little bit, and then I'll just put a little foundation out there. I'm just going to use this kind of top of the triangle. Just to make sure I get that right there where I clean that up. It blends in easy. I'm going to take just what's left on my little palette and just put a little bit where I need a little extra coverage. But it feels super light on the face. What I did notice, even using a primer, after just a couple of hours, I do end up with a little bit of shine breakthrough in the center of my face. And then after 8 hours, the first day or the second day, I had a good bit of breakdown kind of around my nose, and just not the longest lasting. But today we'll use, I should have got a setting spray. I didn't get a setting spray, but that's one of those things too that I don't use every day. So like I said, I don't want to waste. I don't want to be wasteful. And I don't think this is the most flattering foundation that I own. Let me scooch up a little closer here so y'all can see. And we will go. The sun is kind of in and out. It was supposed to be a nice sunny day today, but it's not been what they said. But we'll get a good look outside when we get everything on. I think I am going to have to take just a little bit of concealer out here. So I'm going to do that right quick and I'll be back. Okay, so I used just a little bit of the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer and put the outer corners and just a tiny bit in these deepest caverns of my eyes. So we'll finish off the lower lash line here. And then we'll move on to some cheeks. So they have a new liquid highlighter that I am super excited to try. So I'm going to go in with my Profusion small pointed brush, and I'm just going to take that deeper purple that we used. No, let's not do that. Let's do a little pencil brush. And we're just going to kind of mimic what we did up top. So a little on the outer corner, a little on the inner corner, and then we'll put that green in the center. And then I'm going to take the little tiny flat brush from Profusion. And you can see where this has been sitting on my hand for a minute. If you rub it, it kind of spreads out. So I picked up some of that just kind of on the end of that brush, and I'm going to tuck it under my lashes to try to keep it from falling out everywhere. And see if we can kind of build that up there. And that definitely gives me a bit of fallout. I'm going to take that Profusion brush and just smudge out that deeper shade a little bit. I kind of got that shimmer a little lower than I wanted. It's just kind of, it's a little crumbly. I mean, it applied great with the finger on the top, but trying to use it underneath is a little bit difficult. So maybe not the best to use underneath the lash line. Alright, so let's try some mascara. For that, I got their Lash Warrior mascara. It's got a silicone, a spiked warrior brush, they call it. I got the shade Fiercest Black. It's supposed to give you 150% fierce full-blown volume, 100% saw dramatic thickness, and 88% saw extreme length in a clinical test. Okay, hopefully I'm still in the same spot here. And this is what the packaging looks like. It's this pretty kind of green and gold. And this is what the wand looks like. It's kind of, it's silicone, it's slightly curved, but it's kind of fat on that end up here. I don't know how I'm going to love that trying to get into those, you know, kind of those corner lashes, but we'll see. A little bit of a stiff spikes on this one. Not as soft as like the Maybelline Lash Sensational, but not bad. It feels like it's grabbing all the lashes. So that's one coat versus no coats. Do a coat on the other eye. I think I must have gotten more on the wand with that second dip in, because that's, I've only put one coat on each eye. So let's go in for number 2. Alright, so that's got 2 coats on each eye. I'm going to pop a little bit on the lower lashes. I wish this was slightly smaller. Where I had the green shadow on my lower lashes did kind of cause the mascara to clump just a little bit there. So now let's move on to the cheeks. And this is what I'm really excited for. So for bronzer, I grabbed their Heat Wave Luminous Bronzer. And this is the shade Sunrise L1. This is I think it's a baked formula. You know, it's kind of marbleized, so you get, there's matte and shimmer powders swirled together for a lit from within ambient glow. So this is what that looks like. This is, I grabbed this one because it looked a little on the cooler tone side. That's what that looks like on the hand there. So I think I'm going to take, I think I'm going to do a fluffier brush. That way I don't get too much luminosity. Yeah, so that foundation is still just a little bit tacky. Ooh, a little bit dusty. That gives a nice glow, like not like a shiny, like I've put highlighter everywhere like some luminous bronzers I've tried. It's got nice pigment. I like the undertone of it. I'll do a little bit on the hairline here. It's got kind of more of a reddish undertone versus like orangey. Y'all know I like a little on the chin and the nose. Usually I just take whatever's left on the brush for the nose and the chin. I just feel like it kind of makes everything look a little more seamless. Now I'm going to take like the clean side of my sponge and just press over that a little bit. And that's kind of the luminosity that's like not glittery. I like that. And then for cheeks, I grabbed some of their blush balm. Now that is a little, did get a little powder everywhere. I had one of their blush balms in the shade Pinched, and then I grabbed a deeper shade that is called Bitten. So Bitten might be too pinky, but this one seemed like it was just a little too nude for me. So I think I'm going to try a little bit of this Bitten and see. I think we should be able to shear it out a little bit so it's not too bright maybe. But I never could really get a good idea of what I thought about this formula because the shade I had was just a little bit light, which it's been a while since I tried that one, so let's just do a little dot of each on my hand and we'll kind of see what they look like. I said a little dot and that's a big dot. Ooh, that's Pinched and Bitten. Yeah, that Pinched is a little bit of a warmer peachy tone. So since I've already got some of this on my hand, I'm going to take my e.l.f. Putty Primer Applicator and just dip into the shade Bitten. Get a little bit of that on my brush and apply that to the cheeks. Woo! She's bright. Y'all know I don't mind a bright blush. Just going to kind of tap over and shear this out a little bit, and then I will probably go over it with my sponge just to tamp it down because I did get a little bit heavy-handed. It's a really pretty shade, not picking up the foundation underneath. And you can see I was a little bit lighter handed over here than here. Very pretty. Let me put the lid on this before and I like the applicator on these. It's kind of got the little squeezy tip so you can see the product before it just jumps out everywhere, which didn't really help me because I still ended up with it everywhere. And it dries down to, like, it doesn't feel sticky or tacky. The foundation feels stickier than this. My sponge, the side that still has the foundation, you know, remnants on it, and just tap over that a little bit. Try to tone it down some. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I feel like I'm already getting a little bit shiny on my nose. Yeah, I feel like that settled us down just a little. And then for highlight, this is a new product. This is their Spotlight Liquid Highlighter. I got the shade Opal. And it does have a little spongy, you twist it to open it and then squeeze the product out. You can see it's starting to come out. I'm going to put a little bit on the back of the hand here so y'all can see that. I was really excited about this one. Ooh, that's bright. I may have gotten a little bit heavy-handed there, but what's new, right? I think that's pretty. Let's do a little on this side. I'm just taking the clean portion of my sponge and kind of pouncing that in. I think that's pretty. It doesn't look super glittery. And I know one of these shades I saw, I think it was Jen Phelps. It matches one of the Charlotte Tilbury glow wands or whatever. Not the Pinkgasm one, but one of the others. I like that. I think that's a nice kind of lit from within glow. I think it comes in 3 shades. Little bit tacky. I'm gonna set my face down just because it's still a little bit tacky. I'm just gonna use my e.l.f. HD powder, and then we'll move on to lips. I feel like I'm not very chatty today for whatever reason. I'm just working that into my little poof here. And these do clean up nice. I actually, since they come in like an 8-pack, I threw some of them in the washer, like in a little, like lingerie bag. And then I washed some just like I do my normal brushes. And even the ones that I put in the washer came out fine. Now, I didn't dry them in the dryer. I just, you know, let them air dry. And I'm going to go over those cheeks just a little bit to try to tamp down the blush. And that foundation does look a bit heavy on the under eyes. So far, this foundation I've not really been super impressed with. It just looks a little heavy and kind of emphasizes my texture a little bit. And it's not the longest wearing on my skin. And then for lips, I got one of her, I think this is a newer lip liner. It's the Perfect Pout. Or it looked, it still said it was new on the website. I bought everything from Flower Beauty's website, so. But this is their Perfect Pout Sculpting Lip Liner. And I got the shade Taupe. And it's one of those angled deals. Like I said, everybody's coming out with one of these. And then I picked up a couple of new shades of, this is the Petal Pout, Petal Pout lipstick. I got Autumn Rose. It's a matte formula. This is one of my favorite drugstore matte lipsticks. And then I grabbed the Perfect Pout formula. I grabbed the shade Blush Rose. That's what that one looks like. We may use that one. And we may end up layering with one of my other because I've got a couple of different shades, because I really like this formula. And I've not tried this Perfect Pout formula. It's more of a balmy, because this is the Perfect Pout here, and then that'll be pretty in the fall, Autumn Rose. Hence the name Autumn Rose. And this is the Blushing Rose right here. We'll give you a little swatch of the lip liner. And it's just taupe. It feels matte. So I'm just going to line my lips with this. And then we'll pop one of those on. Flower Beauty's matte lipstick is more comfortable for me on my lips than the Milani ones that are, have been viral lately. And this is the first time trying the lip pencil. I'm just kind of smudging that line. I struggle a little bit on the lower lip with these. That shape of lip liner. So that's just the lip liner by itself. And I'm going to go on top of it with this Blush Rose Perfect Pout formula. Ooh, that feels really good. A little bit of a vanilla-y scent. That feels super comfy. Now, I wouldn't expect this would be very long-lasting, since it is a creamier formula. I think I may tone that down just a little bit with her Naked Blush. This is the matte formula, but this is a more pale shade. Just in the center. Since we kind of got a lot going on the eyes. Alright, so I just put on a little bit of the e.l.f. brow lift just to kind of hold these brows in place. Let's scooch up here. This is our finished look, and we will... Looks like we got some sunshine peeking out, so we will step outside right quick. Alright, so we are obviously outside. This is just a little bit of kind of diffused natural light. I'm really loving that Chrome Crush pressed pigment or pressed powder, whatever that was, that we put in the center of the eyes. It's really pretty. And I'm really liking the cheeks. That highlighter is super pretty, and Flower Beauty does a great job with her lipsticks. So I'm going to step out here in the bright sun. The foundation is not my favorite. It's kind of grabbing in places, and it's just not the most flattering. But I think that highlighter gives a gorgeous, almost kind of that wet look to the cheeks. And then, like I said, I love that jade shade of that eye product. So I will check in with y'all here in a little bit and let you see how the foundation and everything is wearing. I'm going to keep it on as long as I can today. I do need to cut my hair and wash it. So, but like I said, I've worn this foundation for a few days. So I'll check in with y'all in a little bit. Thanks. Hey y'all. I just thought I would check in one last time on the makeup. This foundation I just don't love. It has definitely, I don't know if y'all will be able to tell, settled into my forehead lines and wrinkles. We're 7 hours in, and it has pretty much worn off of my nose, except for like right in the sides of my nose where it's kind of settled. And then it has grabbed onto dry patches that I didn't really realize I had, like on my mustache area. But it just kind of wears off weird and settles. And it looks, you know, kind of heavy in this porous area that I have here. So that's definitely not my favorite. And that one, what's that retail for? I've got it on here somewhere like 15 bucks, 18 shades, but I don't love that. What I do love, however, are these cheek products. This Heat Wave bronzer, I even wore a boggin for a little while this morning. That's still hanging on. The blushes, beautiful, love it. Those are still kicking. And then this highlighter, I'm really liking this. It's super, super pretty. I've got the shade Opal, but it's, when I look straight on, you don't see it so much, but when I turn, you know, it just catches the light and looks beautiful. The eyeshadow palette, it's okay. Oh, and this highlight, the new liquid highlighter, it retails for $13. And the bronzer retails for $9, but there's only 2 shades of this bronzer, but I like this. You know, the cheek products are fantastic. I would recommend any of those, but this highlight's probably my most favorite thing. I don't know. This bronzer was really good too. The eyeshadow's okay. It's, you know, it's held on well. The little Chrome Crush pressed pigments, their little quads retail for $11. There's 4 different, you know, color stories of this. These come in 6 different colors and they retail for $12. Now I do have hooded eyes, so it has transferred up a little bit, but that's not really anything that doesn't happen to me even with a powder shimmer. So I like these. And the little quad was pretty good. I don't think it's anything to write home about, you know, as far as the best formula ever, but it's good. And then the lip liner actually held on for quite a while. That one retails for $10, comes in 8 different shades. This new lip liner that they've got, I did like this. Now I have reapplied lip balm and stuff throughout the day, and I've ate and drank and all of that stuff. So, you know, that one's good. And their lipsticks are fantastic. I love those formulas. You know, their Perfect Pout, this more hydrating formula, it comes in 10 different colors for $9. And then the Petal Pout, they have 22 shades. It's a mix of cream and mattes, and these retail for $8. And I think I've only got the matte formula in these. A lot of the creamy colors that I wanted were sold out, but I love those. Those I recommend as well. The mascara, it didn't flake or smudge, but this is just my first use. And this one retails for $10. So as far as my first time wearing it, I think it's good. But, you know, as the formula dries out, it may change. So I kind of hesitate to recommend that until I see how it's going to hold up. Was that it? The blush bombs, those, you know, I think I mentioned those, $8, 8 shades. They're gorgeous. Love them. So their cheeks and their lips are my top picks. But this highlighter, I can't wait to wear that again tomorrow. And I did get an email this afternoon from Flower Beauty. This week they're having a friends and family sale for this week. If you use the code FAM22, you get 25% off. I think that's just on their website. I believe over $30 they do free shipping. So yeah, I'm loving that. That highlighter is probably my top pick. And then behind that, I'm going bronzer, lipsticks, and blushes. That's gonna be how. And that foundation, I didn't love it. I know it looks fine sitting here looking at myself in the camera, but this iPhone does me some favors. So those are kind of my final thoughts. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I thank you guys so much for your support. Y'all are the best subscribers on the whole of the internet, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.